Hello. Take it. Take. Hello. Today we're going to have show you the setup for the Human Foosball. The dimensions of the Human Foosball that I have are 16 by 32, but you'll need 3 foot all the way around for the braces. So the 16 by 32 is the inside dimension. Okay, the tools required for Human Foosball are just a driver, and then you'll need a 1/2-inch wrench for the bolts that hold the pipe down. There are 2 different size screws. Shorter ones here are for the sidewalls and going through just 1/2-inch plywood into your 2x4, and then these are a little longer when you got to go from a 2x4 into another 2x4. You got the bolts, washers, and nuts here for the pipe. And as I said, that's a 1/2-inch wrench to put those on. That should be all that you need for the tools. Okay, we're going to show you how the sidewalls go together. I'm starting not on the end, but at the kind of in the end of the first piece here, going into the foosball court. So the court's going to be going this way. So in the middle here, we're going to go half on, half off, because another piece of plywood's going to come in right next to it. So we'll just screw that to this 2x4. I usually do 3 screws in a sidewall. That's our first piece. Yeah, we're good. Let's come around then. And then we're going to put the other piece here, button up against. So again, half on, half off. So that second piece can screw to it as well. It's more important to have the top of this flush, because we're going to run a 2x4 all the way along the top. So we want those pretty even there, like that.
When you screw down the plywood, it should not be more than 1.5 inches higher than the support leg, because there's a 2x4 rail that has to be screwed on the top as well.
Alright, so we're going to keep going down the sidewall. Again, there's 4 pieces of plywood on each side. So here you can see we got 2. We're just going to keep going with the last 2 pieces of plywood on that side. That's where we get our 32 feet long. Alright, next we're going to do the end setup here. You're going to want to start with your brace here on your sidewall. And we need this flush. Okay, so the piece of plywood's going to come clear across here. So we don't want to leave this one hanging over half at all. This one here we want flush. So right there we can see we're flush. And the same thing on the bottom. And then our end piece is just going to slide right past the one we're working on here. Alright, let's do... Okay, we're still working on the end piece. This is going to be where the goalie is. It's way too narrow now, but we'll move it over here in a minute. But again, we want these to be flush. Okay, so that's what that looks like when it's done on this side. All right, so now we're going to set the end so we got the right width for the goalie. I got 5-foot 2x4s here, and what we do is just set those on the top. I'm not going to anchor them yet. I'm just going to use them as a measuring stick for how wide this piece of plywood needs to be pushed over. So right about there will work. That's pretty good. This will give us a 5-foot piece here, a 6-foot opening, and then another 5-foot on the other side. All right, so here we're just anchoring the end rail on my stand. Like that, all flush. And then over here in the corner, you can start by anchoring. Again, we want that at about 5 foot. And then we put this last stand in. Again, get it where you need it so that you got about 5 foot here. And then this piece of plywood gets anchored back to this sidewall brace. So you just stick one through here and hit that sidewall brace. Just got to do that in top and bottom. And then that holds that corner together. Again, going into that sidewall brace there. Okay, we're going to talk about the rail setup now. On the rails, there is a right side and a left side, and they're marked. So here you can see I got right, and then this is the end down here. And again, this is right side. This is a 1-1, so those are going to go together. It is pretty particular that you get these in the right order, because the holes that are drilled for the pipe need to be in a specific spot. So all the right, there's 4 right boards and there's 4 left boards. And the end that you're calling 1 has to be the right end 1 has to match the left end 1 so that the holes for the pipe line up. So you got your longer screws. Again, I'm on the right, and this is the end piece. Those longer screws just go in there. Again, going from a 2x4 to a 2x4. Just anchor these all the way down. Again, this is a right 1 and a right 1 go together. So you can see here that the plywood is a little bit above the rail. When you're setting your side pieces, we want to make sure that that isn't up more than 1.5 inches. So I got a little bit high here with this rail. Or with the plywood, sorry, with the plywood there. Again, if anything, we want the plywood below our rail, not above like I have here. So again, when you're setting your side, your stands, just make sure you have them up high enough that this distance right here isn't more than 1.5 inches. Okay, once we got the rail all the way down, then we can come back through and just put a couple screws from the plywood into that rail. Again, you can make sure that that's flush there. I do have them labeled, the plywood side of the rails there. So again, just come down the line there and put a few into that top rail. Just like that, all the way down both sides. Okay, once we got the rails in, we got to put these additional supports in. We just want supports every 4 foot. So this one here is just going to go halfway on this sheet of plywood. Just get those popped in. Do this one here. And then just put a couple screws in on the, just like we did on the others, just to hold those supports in place there. Alright, so now we're on to the pipe setup here. The pipe that goes closest to the goalie is going to be the shortest pipe. Only one person is at this slot. There's a medium PVC pipe on this one. There are going to be two people on this one. They're going to be shooting towards that goal. This long one has set up for 3 people. Okay, this is the longest PVC pipe. This is a three-person pipe, and they're going to be shooting towards that goal down there. Okay, I have three pipes set up here, but obviously there's going to be 3 more on the other half here once it's all together. Okay, so if you set up your rails correctly, with again the right and the left side, make sure the one board is on the same end on both ends. Our holes for our pipe should all line up. So here I got one drilled. This is for the goalie. Just put that through the 2x4. Got a washer here, a nut that goes on there, and again this just takes a 1/2 inch wrench and you just snug that up. Doesn't have to be real tight, just enough to hold it so it doesn't come apart, I guess. So again, we're going to do that same thing here with the middle PVC pipe. This is the middle length, and then we'll do the same thing here on the long one. Again, washer and nut down there. Now there is going to be some adjustment to this other wall. So you can see this has to be slid out about 18 inches or so to line up with the holes. You're going to want to get this sidewall close, you know, before you put it together, or you're going to have 2-3 people to help you move this entire sidewall. Because when this is all together, there's 4 sheets of plywood going down the way here, so that's whatever, 32 feet of plywood you're going to have to move. So here you can see it needs to be moved out about 18 inches, and then we would just put that bolt through the hole on this side. So obviously we're going to take a soccer ball, and the one here with the 2 people, medium size. These 2 are shooting towards that goal, so they're going to sit on this side of the pipe. A couple things about just some safety things, I guess, is both hands need to be on the white pipe. Do not let people put their hands on the silver pipe here, because when this PVC comes across, it's going to smash their hand and it's going to hurt a lot. So one of the rules that I always have when I'm around is both hands got to be on the PVC pipe. The other thing is the kids sometimes will start hanging on the pipe. Hey, just don't let them hang on the pipe. We don't need the pipe bent. They just need to go back and forth here and try to kick the ball, obviously, through the goal. I do have some plastic fencing that I will put sometimes on the end line there or past the goal so the ball doesn't go way out into the yard. That little fencing kind of helps. If you're doing an inside setup, then there's no way to put that plastic fencing up with the fence post, so it'll be a little different there. Obviously the goalie here standing on this side of the pipe trying to defend the goal, and they can go wherever they need to here, back and forth. So I think that's it. A couple of other things maybe before I go, and that is the scorer. I do got a little thing here to keep score, and obviously that just gets screwed down here onto looks like there's a screw left in there, but that just gets screwed onto this end rail here. There's another one for the other side. We do have drink holders. The drink holders are here, and obviously you can just stick those on wherever you want. There's usually a couple, 3 on each side or whatever. I believe that's it. Enjoy the Human Foosball. It's a lot of fun. Again, just make sure the kids keep their hands on the white PVC pipe so they don't get fingers pinched.